few of you have not joined. Again, I sent a mail. I think all of you have received that mail, right? That with the new updated list, I again sent the mail with the code, and then I told that those who cannot join personally, they can contact. A few of them contacted already. Two or three I have added. Huh? So after that, still I can see around 10 to 15 students are not there in this team. So you all ask your classmates to join, huh? Or instead of writing to Dean Academics, they can write directly to me. You can tell them that I am available through phone or mail, whatever thing they can ask me. I can add them personally. Okay. In other section, everyone joined 93 students. In for the other classes, anyone here is there?
No,
Anyway,
sir.
okay, so all of you please take this initiative and make your friends involved in this class, huh? Otherwise it will be trouble for them. Okay. I request you all to those who have already there in this class, make your friend to be connected with this class. Okay. Okay, then I'm starting today's class. Today we'll be discussing with Thevenin's theorem, and if required, I can again revise the superposition theorem if you want me to revise it. Shall I tell briefly about superposition theorem, or shall I directly start with Thevenin?
Sir, tell briefly.
So please repeat. We cannot understand the.
Superposition theorem, is it? In laboratory classes, superposition theorem, madam clarified. Any doubt from there? Linearity, all those things what madam was discussing, I already discussed with you, if I'm not wrong. What is linearity and all those things. Norton theorem I will discuss later. First let me cover Thevenin theorem, then after that we'll go for the Norton theorem. Is my screen visible to you now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
sir.
So basic concept of superposition theorem, apart from theorem, proper definition of the theorem, a proper wording, I am just give you the idea what is superposition theorem. So superposition theorem is taking for a linear bilateral circuit. Now it is clear to you what is a linear circuit, what is a bilateral circuit. All those things is clear. So whenever for this DC network, it will be purely resistive circuit, right? There should not be any inductance, capacitance. So forget about that. Only resistance will be present, linear resistance, which are following the Ohm's law. So if that is, there is a network, resistive network, and if there are more than one sources, maybe a voltage source or current source, what we do out of say n number of sources, we take each source individually. Like for this network, we first take 2 volt voltage source, and we replace the other voltage source by short circuit, because that is the internal resistance for this source, right? So what we do, we take one source at a time and replace the other sources by their internal resistance. So if it is like a current source, then we replace it by a open circuit. If it is a voltage source, if it is a ideal voltage source, we replace it by short circuit. This concept we have to again use for the Thevenin's theorem. So I am again repeating this. So if it is a voltage source, if we want to replace it by internal resistance, it will be a short circuit. If this is a current source, we have to replace the current source with the help of a open circuit. If it is having an internal resistance, like if voltage source is having an internal resistance of small r, say, then we replace this by the resistance of small r when we replace the voltage source. And if it is a current source with a internal resistance capital R, we should put it as a capital R here in parallel. Okay. So this is how we solve problem, and I have shown one problem with so many sources. Just let me go through it, because the same problem we'll consider for the Thevenin's theorem as well. So let us take this problem again. So here we have a resistive network with so many sources. You can see. I hope you can see, right? Hello, is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
okay. Thanks. So we have total 5 number of sources, and we have to solve the circuit. I mean, solve the current. What is the current IAB that we have to compute? So for that, we'll take the help of superposition theorem, and later when we learn Thevenin theorem, we'll try to cross check the value what we are calculating using superposition theorem. So what do we do here? First, we take out of 5 sources. There are 5 sources. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just let me see whether there is any highlighted is there. Okay. Okay, so there are 5 sources, right? Is the pointer visible to you, which I am moving here on the current source A?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what do we do out of these 5 sources A, B, C, D, E? First, we'll take up only source, current source 1, and we replace all other sources by their internal resistance. So you see, we have taken only source A, so it is a 3 ampere current source. I have placed that. Next, source B. Source B is having an internal resistance 0 because it is an ideal voltage source unless and until it is specified. So we do, what do? We just short this these two terminal, right? So just replace B by a short circuit. That is what we have done. Next comes source C. This is also ideal voltage source. So what we have done, we have shorted the terminal. So it is 2 ohm and then it is shorted. Then it is 3 ohm, and then next source is source D. Source D is an ideal current source. As I told, ideal current source will be replaced by open circuit because it is having an infinite internal resistance, which is in shunt, not in series. So that is why we just opened for the source D. And for the source E, again, it is an ideal voltage source. So we have shorted this to terminal, right? So then next task is to find out the current through IAB using current branching rule. Here we have 2 ohm resistor. In the other side, parallelly, we have 6 ohm resistor. So that is what we have done. Hmm? We have used the current branching rule, and with which we found out the effective it is 2 ampere, 1 ampere will be okay, fine. So using current branching rule, we have found out what is the current through IAB. So this is only for the source A when it is there in the consideration, while other sources we have replaced. Next, what to do? We'll consider only source B and we'll replace A, C,
Sir.
D, E. Yes.
Sir, one
Yes.
doubt. Sir, if the
Huh.
current source has resistance which is shunted and its value is given, then how do we replace it? Like here you have shorted, then in that case, what we'll do?
So if we consider that it is a 3 ampere, say source D is a I mean practical current source. It is having some internal resistance, right? So how do we write it? We will write it like 3 ampere, and then in parallel there will be one resistance, isn't it? In parallel to this. So what do? We'll just short it like if it is a 0.5 ampere, or if it is a 5 ohm, not ampere. If it is a 5 ohm in shunt, so we'll just add 5 ohm here and replace the current source. So it will be simply in series here. Okay. Whenever we have
And
a
sir,
current source,
in series now.
and
Voltage source,
voltage
if
source,
it is
if it is having say 0.5 ohm resistance, 2 volts, the source B here, if it is a having 2 ampere, 2 ohm resistance, internal resistance, that also we have to keep in series. Okay, just we'll replace this and we'll put that resistance
okay.
simply. Okay.
Sir, in source say 2 ohm, 3 ohm, and another 2 ohm is series.
I cannot hear you. Please repeat.
Sir, in source A, 2 ohm, 3 ohm, and another 2 ohm is in series.
2 ohm, no, 3 source A is 3 ampere source, ideal source. It is not having any internal resistance which is in shunt with A, and then it is in series with another voltage source which is 2 volt source. Okay, it is a voltage source and current source together, it is there in series. Got it?
What the
Okay. Okay, next what we do, we consider only source B and replace all other source by their internal resistance. So that is what we have done here. So I have taken only the source B, which is 2 volt, and other are replaced by their internal resistance. So current sources are opened and voltage sources are shorted. So you can see that 2 volt resistance, 2 volt source is not having any closed path, so it is having no effect on the circuit, on the network, right? So it is 0, IAB equal to 0. Next, we come to source C. So this path actually, whenever we take any other source, like apart from this 3 ampere source, it will be always an open circuit. So this part I have not drawn. So if you wish to, you can write, you can draw this part and ignore it. But I have done a step jump and I have not shown this path. Okay, so it is not there because it is not having a closed path. Otherwise, we should have considered this. If instead of current source, if it is a voltage source, then that we have to consider in this one. So we are not doing that because it is a current source, it is an open circuit, so we can ignore this. Done. So therefore now this is the consideration, it is a modification with considering source C only. So accordingly we have obtained the current through it. Done. Next is source D. So we have taken the current source only and other sources replaced by the short circuit and this current source by open circuit. So this part we have not drawn here. And then we consider the source E. Source E is again a voltage source and current source. Here we opened it. This is also it is current source, so it is not drawn because it is an open circuit. And this is how we have calculated for contribution for each source. What is the current through IAB, and then we have algebraically add them up, looking at the polarity. I mean, looking at the direction of the flow of current. Okay, so this is what is superposition theorem. What we are doing, we are at a time taking taking each source at a time and their contribution we are calculating, and then finally we add them up algebraically by taking care of the polarity if it is a voltage drop, or taking care of the direction of the current if it is a current through it. Okay, so this is how we solve superposition theorem. So this is the concept of superposition theorem, and superposition theorem is I have defined the linear system. Actually, when we define a linear system, we call a system is linear when it is following the principle of homogeneity and the superposition. So additive is not the right term actually. Right term is the superposition theorem, law of superposition or superposition theorem you have to mention. So whenever we try to solve the circuit using superposition theorem, we are actually defining, it's a self-referencing problem. So we are defining superposition theorem with the consideration that it will follow the superposition theorem. So that is why it is written in terms of additive. So it is like additive property. Okay, and that addition is the algebraic addition, right? So this was the background of the superposition theorem. Let us now move to Thevenin theorem.
Sir, can you repeat source D1?
Can you repeat what? Source conversion? I cannot understand what you are saying. Source difference.
Source D.
Oh, okay, okay. Source D. How we are taking source D and this part?
Yes, sir. How we are solving it?
Source D, when we are taking, if you look back the circuit, this is your source D. It's a current source, right? All other source we have to replace. So what we do, these two terminal will short it. So E will be replaced by a short circuit. C will be replaced by a short circuit. This will be replaced by short circuit, and this will be by open circuit. So open circuit means this part totally you can ignore because it is open, isn't it? Whenever there is an open circuit between these two terminals, so if there is a two wire lying from there, from this node and from this node, that means it is open circuit, so we don't need to draw it. That is why I have not drawn these two lead from here. Okay, and others, what I did, I just replaced by a short circuit. So I have shorted this and this, I have shorted this and this, and I left only the current source 3A. So this is now the reduced circuit. So now using current branching rule, this is the 3 ampere source. So through this branch, 3 ampere will be flowing on this central branch, and that current will be divided into these two parts. One is through 2 ohm resistor, other is through 5 ohm resistor, isn't it? So that is how I have found out the current through the 5 ohm resistor by current branching rule, which is 2 by 3, 5 plus 2. So it is 6 by 7. Got it?
Yes,
Is it
sir.
all right?
Yes, sir.
So same way I have solved for the source E. So I have taken this, I have replaced these two current source by open circuit. So you have only a single loop like 2 volt, then 2 ohm, then 3 ohm, then 2 ohm, then this is short circuit and this is open circuit. So this is a one loop only left. So that is what is drawn here. Okay, this we can ignore. This 1 ohm we have to ignore because it is open. Fine. So this is how we solve it. 2 by 7. And the polarity also we have to take care. Right?
Sir,
Hmm.
so the current will pass from plus to minus. That is why minus 2
Current
by 7
direction will be from minus to plus. Like whenever you have a source like this, na, plus and
so why
minus. So
then
current,
minus 2 by 7?
huh?
Minus 2 by 7 why? What
Because
is the
I
reason?
have taken the direction of the current in this way, IAB in this way. So this is the convention I have followed. From A to B, I have taken positive. So B to A, therefore I have to take negative, like what is happening here. It is from positive to negative, na? Current is flowing like this. So it is now B to A. If you look now this 3 ampere resistance, this is A, this is B. So it is from B to A, so it is the opposite direction, that's why negative.
Okay.
Okay?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, in source D, where did the 1 ohm resistor go? That I
In
could not understand.
which
Source
one?
D, D,
This
D,
one. D.
D, D.
This is source
Where
D,
did the
na?
1 ohm resistor go? Hmm. In
1
the
ohm resistor.
calculation,
This calculation, na, current branching you are asking, right? Where is 1 ohm resistor?
yes, yes, sir. Hmm.
Because whenever we have a current source, na, current source means throughout this branch, this particular branch, always the current will be 3 ampere. So up to this, through this 1 ohm resistor, it is 3 ampere up to this node. Then after this node, this current will
Hmm.
be divided into two parts. One is I5 and this is I2 for these two resistance. So
Hmm.
then what we can write? So 5 into I5 equal to 2 into I2, isn't it? Right? Because drop across this will be
Yes.
same. So 5 into
Hmm.
I5 equal to 2 into I2. So then we can write that I5 is to I2 equal to 2 is to 5. And total current is what? I2 plus I5 equal to 3. So using the branching rule, we can find out the total is 3 and this is divided into a ratio of 2 is to 5. So through I5 will be 2 by 2 plus 5 into 3. So 2 by 7 into 3. So 6 by 7. Got it? That is why 1 ohm resistor
Yes,
is
sir.
not there into scenario because still here through this 1 ohm resistor it is always 3 ampere. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other doubt for this problem? Okay. Then
So can
I
you repeat
proceed.
this one?
Which one?
Just 3 by 7 ampere, 6 by 7 ampere.
Okay. Let us do it again. Then I think it will be easy for you. Wait a minute. Okay. So this was our circuit. This is 3. This is 2. Here it is 2. This is the 3 ampere source. This is the 1 ohm resistor. right? So this current is 3 if it is I, this I is basically 3 ampere only, because whenever we have a constant current source now throughout this path, this current, this I current will be always 3 ampere. So then after it reach, say it is having a two node, it is C, it is D, I don't know, maybe XY, whatever it is. So from this C to D, throughout this path, it will be always 3 ampere. But whenever it will reach to D, there will be division between these two branch. So let us name it as I5 because it is 5 ohm resistor. So I5 ohm and this is I2 ohm. So we name it like this. So what we can write? We can write I is equal to I5 ohm plus I2 ohm. Agree? This is the sum of, if you apply KCL here, this is what we get. And then that is, once it is get divided into these two parts, so throughout this path, VCD is what? VCD is the voltage drop across this branch CD. So that is equal to 5 ohm resistor I5, isn't it? Alternatively, we can write VCD is equal to 2 ohm resistor into I2 ohm, right? Because drop across this will be same VCD. So we can write what? I5 into 5 is equal to I2 into 2. So we can write like I5 is to I2 equal to 2 is to 5. The same concept of current branching rule, isn't it? And total I is equal to I2 plus I5, that is equal to 3. So how can you solve then? What is I5? I5 will be what? I5 will be 3 into 2 divided by 5 plus 2. So 3 into 2 by 7. So it is 6 by 7. And polarity will be in the A to B direction. This is A, this is B, so we'll take positive. Clear? Is it clear now?
Clear, clear, sir.
Yes, I did.
Okay, okay, fine. So let us now move to Thevenin theorem. So what actually Thevenin theorem is, whenever you have a complicated circuit, say a complicated network, and you are to find out the a current through a particular resistance of that network, then what do we do? Say we have a network like this, like this. So we have to find out the resistance through the current through this particular resistance. Okay. Then what do we do actually whenever we have a complicated circuit? Using Thevenin's theorem, we assume this part, this whole part as a practical voltage source with VTH, I mean VTH we call it, VTH as its voltage with the internal resistance RT. So we just simply approximate this entire thing as a practical source with the internal resistance small r, which is usually written as RTH, and this is written as VTH. So that is the basic idea of Thevenin theorem. Okay, so how can you find out that? How can you, if you have a complicated network like the way it was shown in your laboratory classes, there was a Wheatstone bridge kind network, but it was unbalanced, it was not balanced thing. So there was a source like this, and you have to find out the current through this RL. So this was V, and we have to find out the current through RL, right? That was the problem. So if we have to find out this using Thevenin theorem, what we do, we simply approximate the entire thing apart from the RL, everything we consider to be as a practical source like this, which is having an internal resistance RTH and voltage as VTH, and then we connect RL like that. Okay. So if that is the concept, then if I just read through, let's see what is written. Thevenin's theorem states that a linear two-terminal circuit, it may be multi-terminal also, never mind, but for a linear circuit, to be more generic way we can say, and it is having again that bilateral term, because if there is a unilateral you cannot use it. So for a linear bilateral circuit, it can be replaced by an equivalent circuit consisting of a voltage source VTH in series with a resistor RTH, which is considered as it at the internal resistance of the source VTH, where VTH is the open circuit voltage at the terminal through which you want to measure the current, and RTH is the input or the equivalent resistance around at the terminal when you loop the resistor throughout these two terminals. Okay. So proper formal theorem, if you have to write it, whenever will be asked to write, you have to give the statement like this. This one is the appropriate statement. Any two terminals of a network composed of a linear passive and active elements, active bilateral, that is missed out, that may be replaced by an equivalent voltage source. For the Norton, it will become current source, which we'll discuss in some other day. So Thevenin will always give a equivalent voltage source in series with the equivalent resistance, which is the internal resistance of this equivalent voltage source. Okay. The voltage source is equal to the open circuit voltage between that two terminal, and the series resistance is the equivalent resistance looking into the terminal with all the sources within the terminal are replaced by their internal sources. This is very important, and it will be more clear when we solve the circuit by part. Then it will be more clear. Okay. So that was possibly we were not able to show during the lab classes. Just by redrawing it, it will be more clear. What is called the series resistance is equivalent resistance looking into the terminal. Looking into the terminal means you open that RL and then you put your eye at that two terminal and then try to see the internal resistance, and then you find the effective internal resistance. So this is the theorem actually. So what I am again repeating, any two terminal of a network composed of linear active and passive bilateral element may be replaced by an equivalent voltage source in series with an equivalent resistance, which is supposed to be the internal resistance of that equivalent voltage source, and the voltage source is equal to the open circuit voltage between that two terminal. The series resistance is the equivalent resistance looking into the terminal with all the sources within the terminal replaced by their internal resistance. So if there is an ideal voltage source, again we have to short it. If there is an ideal current source, we have to open it. Or if there is a practical sources with internal resistance, that too we have to consider. Okay. So this is how the internal resistance is computed, and open circuit voltage also you can find out theoretically. Okay. So it will be well understood if we consider the so this I already explained. If we consider now a problem, then only it will be clear. Before that, what is the procedure to have it, how to use it, and then calculate the current through the particular load resistance or along the terminal when we connect it with the resistance. So first step is, say you have a source like this, you have a network and we have to find out the IRL, that means current to RL. So what is the first step? First step is you remove this RL and then find out the voltage drop across these two terminals. So that is what is written. Then resistance RTH can be computed by three methods. One is RTH is equal to VTH by IN. IN is the Norton, so it will be clarified when you solve the Norton. But still, you can, for the time being, you can consider IN as the short circuit element at the terminal A and B. This method will follow only when we have a dependent source. Otherwise, we have to calculate the RTH using the network reduction approach. Okay. Where VTH is equal to open circuit voltage. So first what we do, we just remove the load resistance from the terminal AB or whatever it is, XY, and then you find out the open circuit voltage around the terminal AB. So that is your VTH, and then you calculate the RTH looking into that terminal AB while you replace all the sources which are there in the internal circuit by their internal resistance. So if it is voltage source, then you ideal voltage source, you short it. If it is ideal current source, you open it, and in that way you do it. In absence of any dependent sources, RTH is equivalent to the resistance at terminal AB while making all the voltage sources shorted and the current source opened. Okay. So this is the case when we do not have any dependent source. When we have dependent source, then you have to follow this method only. Okay, which experimentally we did. When the circuit has a dependent source, then connect 1 ampere terminal at AB and then find V. So this is not the right way. We can follow it this way only. This is the alternative way, which I won't prefer, but that is also third is also an approach. So before that, let us I just want to show you how you can follow this step. Let me add a blank slide.
Sir, I think third point is easier.
1 volt source, it depends on you, but I won't recommend because I always try to follow this approach, which is usually we follow in laboratory. When the circuit has a dependent source, then connect 1 ampere source at terminal A and B and then find V. Okay, so then you can find the drop, and then if you have the drop across AB, then that by 1 volt, that means that VAB is equal to RTH. That is also possible. I am not saying it is wrong, but personally, I follow the first one whenever we have a dependent source. So we'll try to solve in the both way, one or using three when I take up the dependent source. As of now, I have not taken any dependent source. Once we cover all the 4 network theorem, then we solve problem using dependent source. Okay. Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
let us now just revise how we can follow the steps using Thevenin theorem. So I'll just take up a circuit like this, which we have taken in our laboratory class. If this is a voltage source, this is your this is not having any dependent source, only one independent source. So it's okay. R1, R2, R3, R4 all are unequal. Here you have RL, and you have to find out current through RL. So what is our step to Thevenize this circuit? This is your circuit, and you have to find out IRL using Thevenin's theorem. What is the first step? What I told, we have to identify these two terminals. These are the two terminals. This is A and this is B, say. So what is the first step? First step is to remove this load. So we have to remove it and then we redraw the circuit. So this is your B, and I'll just change the configuration, the way it is drawn. This is R1, R2, R3, R4. I have removed RL through it. So this is your VA and this is your VB, right? So we have to find out what is VAB. VAB is equal to VA minus VB. So this is equal to your VTH, isn't it? That is the open circuit voltage across these two terminals A and B, right? So how can you do that? How can you solve it? You can solve it like this. So if there is a current, the current will be branched into two parts. So it is say I1, this is say I2, and I1 plus I2 is equal to I equal to I1 plus I2, and you can find out what is I1 using current branching rule. It is actually R2 plus R3 divided by summation of R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus I4 R4. So I from 1 to up to 4, right? And I2 is equal to R1 plus R4 by sigma R into I, right? So you got your I1 and I2, and what is your I1? I1 is equal to V divided by R1 plus 4, which is in parallel combination with 2 plus 3. So you can find out I1 and I2 because you know you know this rule, so you can find out what is I1 and I2. So what is the voltage drop across this path? It is V minus I1 into R1. This is your VA. V minus I2 into R2. This is your VB. You know what is I1, you know what is I2, you know what is V, you know what is R1, what is R2. So you can find out VA and VB, and VAB is equal to VA minus VB, which is equal to your VTH. So that is your first step. You have solved this. Theoretically, we have found out what is your VTH. The next, what is the next part? Next part was the to calculate the RTH when we look into this terminal A and B while we replace the voltage source by a short circuit by their internal resistance. So here it is an ideal voltage source. So we have to short circuit this source. So if we look from this, if we place our eye here, if we loop from here, and then if we redraw the circuit, I have just taken VA and VB and I have dragged it like that. So it is A. Between A we have R1 and R4, and then it is R2 and R3. This is B, and in between this is, if these are the two terminals, say X and Y, and X, between X and Y initially the voltage source was present. Now we'll just short it. So when we short it, X and Y will become the same point. So what will be your RAB or RTH between A and B? It is basically R1 plus R4, sorry, R1 parallel R4 plus R2 parallel R3, isn't it? Do you agree what I did? I have just touched it V and VB with our both hand, and if you just drag it away from you, then it will look like this. So it is like R1 and R4, these two will come in parallel, and X and Y are shorted, so I have shorted it, so it will become a same point, and then there will be two resistors R2 and R3, these are in parallel, and then ultimately you have the terminal B. So this is your RTH. So this is the second step. First step is to remove the RL, then you find out VAB, that is done. Then second step is you have to look into the terminal and find out the internal resistance of the circuit, replacing all the sources by their internal resistance. So this is what we have calculated, which is RTH. Once you have found out your VTH and RTH, you can find out your IL as VTH divided by RTH plus RL. So your work is done. Your calculation is complete. So this is what is the Thevenin theorem. Are you okay with this? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So now let us go to the problem. So these are the steps which are told, and now let us take a problem like this. Convert the circuit shown in figure A. So it is having two ideal sources in parallel, or we can say like two voltage source and resistor. These are in parallel. Terminal is AB. It is already opened. So it is told that you find the Thevenin equivalent of this particular circuit. You are not asked to find out the current through AB because it is already open, right? So then what is the first step? Opening is already done. So first step is already done. To remove the RL, it is already done. It is already open circuit. You have to find out the drop across AB. Okay. So what is the drop across AB? It is basically 15 minus 10. This is equal to with the terminal A and B open, two voltage sources are connected in a subtracted series because it is in the opposite polarity. Sorry, they are in the same polarity, or it will be better understood if we can take like this. So there will be a 15, if you just complete the loop, 15 minus 4 into I minus 10 8I equal to 0. So your I will be what? 5 by 12. This is the circulating current which will be flowing through this loop, right? Then you can find out what is your VAB. VAB will be 4 into I plus 10 volt, right? Because this is also plus and minus. Here it is also plus and minus. So 10 plus 4 into 5 by 12. So it is this 10 plus 1.67, so 11.67. Okay. VAB is equal, oh, they have taken the other way round. So it is taken from this side. So it is plus 15 minus 8i. What is 10 plus 4i? Same is equal to 15 minus 8i. So that is what they have done. So 15 minus 8 into I was how much? I was 5 by 12, right? So it is 2, is 3. So 45 minus 10 by 3, 35 by 3. That is your VAB. So this is only your VTH. And what is your RTH? As I told, you have to loop from this side, loop into the terminal A and B. And this is how you have to find out the RTH by replacing the internal resistance. So you replace 15 and 10 by short circuit and you get what? You get this only 8 and 4 in parallel. This is your A, this is your B, this is 4 and this is 8. So 8 parallel 4 will give you your RTH. That is equal to what? 8 4 is 32 and then 12. No. So 8 by 3. So RTH is your 8 by 3. So you can find ultimately get your equivalent circuit like this. This is VTH and this is your RTH, where RTH equal to 8 by 3 and this is equal to 35 by 3. Okay. So here there is another example. It is left as an exercise. I don't know whether it is solve it or not. Let's go to the next one. It is again with dependent source. So I don't want to discuss right now. Let us now revise the same problem which we have taken using, which we have considered for the Thevenin superposition theorem. Same thing let us consider again, right? And then we'll in future we'll take up this. So we just revisit the problem which we have considered in superposition theorem.
কতবার চাইবো একটা মুখে কতবার চাওয়া যায় উনি চাইছেই না তো আমি কতবার চাই বললাম
Okay, let me draw it.
ওই 15,000 দিয়ে যাবে 15
There was a current source, then a voltage source, this was your A,
উনি বলে তোমার থেকে
this is your 3 ohm resistor which was connected between A and B, and I have to calculate the current through IAB. We have to calculate using Thevenin theorem. So we'll cross check whatever we have calculated using superposition theorem whether it is correct or not. This is your 2 ohm. Okay, so this was our circuit which we have solved using superposition theorem. Now what to do using Thevenin theorem? As I told, whenever we have to find the current through the load resistance. First task is to remove this. So I just redraw the circuit by removing the 3 ohm resistor. So that is what we'll do first. This is your A. I have removed it. 2 ohm. Then this is 1 volt. And then again this is your B. I have removed the 3 ohm resistor. Then this is your 3 ampere current. 1 ohm. Right. So what to do? We have to find out this open circuit voltage VTH. So to find out VTH, what we have to find out? First, we can find out the node voltage VA, and then we can find out node voltage VB. So VA minus VB is your VTH, isn't it? That is your open circuit voltage. This is the first step we have to calculate to Thevenize the circuit. So if this is your VA here, this is the node voltage VA. If this is node voltage VB, what I told for node A, the current source means constant current source means at node A, the incoming current is always 3 ampere. So this is your incoming current, and outgoing current is what? If this is the current direction, it will now go through this path. So it is VA minus of minus 1 volt. So VA plus 1 divided by 2. So that will give you your VA is equal to 5 volt, isn't it? Using the nodal analysis. And for the node B, if you look back for the node B, the current source 3 ampere is it is away from B, so it is in this way, it is outgoing, and incoming from here. So incoming means it is VB 2 minus VB rather, because 2 is higher potential, VB in lower potential, then only it will move from 2 to VB. So 2 minus VB divided by 2 is equal to what? Is equal to again 3 ampere, because through this branch always it will be 3 ampere because it is having a constant current source. So if you solve this, your yes,
Sir, in the lower branch, the lowest most branch, the current will not flow between the two loops. Between the connection is there, so current will not flow there.
This one here you are saying.
Yes, sir.
This
Yes,
one.
sir.
No, this is in the ground potential. No, actually, this is in the it is in a negative side. So it is having a two separate loop, right? These two will be joined here, like nullify one another. So it will be in a same potential. It is as if shorted. So you can just rejoin all these things at a single line. So it will convert into a single point here. Then if 2 points are in the same potential, will there be any flow of current? No, no. When you
No,
solve,
sir.
so same like here also. So only this through this node entering and outgoing, That. So your VB will be calculated as -4. This is a -4 volt. So now VTH will be 5 minus of -4, which is equal to 9 volt. Agree? This is your open circuit voltage VTH. Now you have to look into the circuit at these two terminal A and B, while you have to replace all the sources by their internal resistance. So that is what we'll do now. I'll just replace it. 2 volt by short circuit, then 3 ampere by open circuit, and then this is 2 ohm, then the 1 volt as short circuit. So this is 2 ohm, then this is in the short circuit part 1 ohm, then it is open circuit, and then this one is 2 ohm short circuit, and this is your A and B. So between A and B, what is there? This is open circuit, so we can forget this part. Between here it is open circuit, so we can forget this. So between A and B only you have 2 ohm plus 2 ohm. So RTH is equal to 2 ohm plus 2 ohm is equal to 4 ohm. Okay, so now you can replace this the entire branch like this, entire thing, the whole thing by a voltage source VTH, which is having 9 volt. This is your VTH. Then your internal resistance RTH, which is 4 ohm, and this is your 3 ohm. This is your A, this is your B, and this is your 3 ohm resistance, load resistance. So then you can find out what the current through AB. IAB is equal to 9 divided by 4 plus 3. So 9 by 7 ampere, which is turned out to be 1.285 something. So if you cross check, last class I have shared the solution for this Thevenin, sorry, for this superposition theorem. It came out to be same as 1.285 ampere. So using Thevenin also we can solve this problem. Okay. So the same problem we'll take up when we'll solve using Norton. We'll take up the same problem and we'll try to cross check whether we are getting the same answer or not. What is your IAB? Okay. So I think we conclude here today. In next class we'll take up Norton, and then that time we'll try to cross check the same problem using Norton. Thevenin, we'll solve one with Thevenin theorem and then we'll cross check with Norton. Okay. So I think if we consider Norton only and then maximum power transfer, our network theorem will be over. Once it is done, then we'll start solving problem using dependent sources. Okay. So I conclude here today.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, why can't we write VB minus 0 upon 1 is equal to 3?
VB minus 0. I could not follow.
That one ground potential.
Oh, sorry, I missed out. Let us open the PDF. You say where? This is open circuit, right? Now this is open circuit. So which one you are saying? Here in the ground potential, this one.
Yes, sir. VB minus 0 upon 1 is equal to 3.
VB minus 0 upon 1. No, you cannot know what is the VB is that you can write also, no issues. VB by 0 minus 1 equal to 3. No, because here you don't know what is the potential in between these 2 points. So if across this current source, there will be some drop. So that you don't know. What you know throughout this branch only, what is your current through this branch, but what is the drop across this, that you don't know. So that is why you cannot write this. It is only VA by 1 equal to VA minus 0 by 1, that you can write as 3 in that way. Okay. So other way I will suggest you, if you try to solve using the KVL, you will get to this loop here. Once you remove this, there will be 2 loops. This is loop 1, this is loop 2. So in that way also, if you solve it, you will be able to get the same answer. I will suggest you to solve in that way. Okay, then I think this will be clear to you what is happening. So only thing is, you have to find out, you can take the drop across this current source as V3A, and you can assume the drop across this current source as V3B, and in that way you try to solve, you will definitely get the answer. Okay. So this all for today. If you cannot do it, I'll definitely share. Next class I'll share. Attendance will be taken from the team itself. Okay. And one more thing I would like to mention now, I need help from you. Tomorrow I can't take for during this slot because of some contingency. Tomorrow I can't take at this 12 to 12:45. So can you give me some other slot when we can take your class? Maybe evening sometime tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Evening is
this
fine.
is for section I only, na?
Section I only. Section I.
Sir, so in the tomorrow schedule, we don't have any
Tomorrow 3
classes
PM.
after it. We don't have any practical classes, so you can take any time you want.
Afternoon, anytime you are saying. So can I take from 4 to 5?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Evening will be good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It will be fine.
Okay. Please do one thing. One take responsibility. I am also free in the afternoon, so no issue. Anytime I can take. So you discuss among yourself and just drop a message in the group. Then I'll take your class at that time only. You discuss among yourself and
Okay,
let
sir.
me know what is your convenient time. Then only for tomorrow I want to reschedule it. Because of some immediate work has come, so I cannot avoid it. That's why. Sorry, So next class will be on the schedule time only. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.